Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Case Hits market video for Disney Lorcana. Looking forward to going through this with you, where we're going to go through the sealed box prices, some of the different rarities of singles, and see kind of what has been selling, what's been stagnant, and what is booming. Hope you appreciate this kind of information. If you do, click the like, subscribe button, and we'll catch you on all of the future videos. All right. That being said, top in here to look into the sealed. We are kind of flat here, which is what we expect. We have the summer slowdown, right? but it's kind of true. And what we're looking for, not necessarily the graph, right? The graph kind of always goes up and right on most TCGs. But what we're looking for is the different sales volume down here at these different price levels. So when you see that they're starting to significantly slow down, that's kind of our sign there. We are still doing well. I'm not saying anything about this product negatively. Fabled is a fantastic product, and it's doing really, really well. This still looks like long term, this would be a really good product to have. Most people buying this are probably not opening it. I doubt they're actually chasing the iconics when they open a case. I bet you they're more just buying it sealed, keeping it sealed, and kind of sitting on it while it runs up, hopefully to $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 in the distant future, right? It makes sense. But yes, sales have slowed down quite a bit here in the last few days, but hey, it's still sold. So Fables rocking and rolling. We've obviously got first chapter. First chapter is a great product. Cases of this for $2,500. Personally, I would probably buy a case of first chapter if you don't have it, over spending twice as much on a Fabled. I understand though the Fables have the super high chase iconics, and you can't ignore that. That is something that is going to elevate the products for Lorcana so much in the future. It's worth looking at too. Other than that, let's kind of take an idea for some things that I see that are kind of like sleeping, are going by the wayside on people. I would say Whispers in the Well, again, another one. One of any of these, 9 through 12 sets where we introduced iconics, we introduced epics, right? The epic rarity, which looks pretty much like cold foil legendaries from the past. They look amazing, great art, great characters. Obviously, you've got the legendaries, legendary cold foils, and you have amazing enchanteds. These products are not bad. Again, you can see we kind of have that, again, just a little bit of a slowdown from the prime ripe season where everybody was super excited jumping into this Lorcana stuff. Who knows? There might be some more investors coming in the future, speculators, flippers, stores, right, wanting to re-up their inventory as things start selling. What happens is when you have these big spikes like that, I'm telling you, people go and they pull stuff out of the closets, they pull stuff off the shelves, out of their warehouses, and they relist it. And then they try to kind of put it on the market and sell into the hype. If they don't do it fast enough, it can kind of drive the price down as people try to go under and under and under, trying to sell off what they can for a good little profit here. But, sales still doing okay on this product, 76763. So people are paying attention to it. I will say, though, for $845, you're not even at $250 a box, right? You're 215 or so, 210. All right. That's still a very reasonable price, I think, to pay with something that has iconics that are so hard to get, that is so valuable as well. Another one that I've been talking about, I'm going to keep talking about it because I think it is actually super underrated, is Randa Jafar. And we can talk about it later. Oh, there actually are more sales. I didn't think there were that many sales, but Randa Jafar has some absolutely goated enchanteds and enchanted characters that I think are going to continue to rise up as there's a depletion of the modern sets. People are really jumping into the 4 modern sets, but I think eventually they're going to take a step back when the prices get out of reach, and they're going to start looking at the other enchanteds throughout the game. And I do think they're going to eventually fall on Reign of Jafar, and they're going to see the enchanteds and the value of the enchanteds in this set, and they're going to want to pick some up. We do have a few cases here or there selling. Not for, this was selling a lot higher. I got a couple weeks ago, kind of like everything was. Yeah, we were having sales at 750, 800, and now we're all the way back down to 550 or so. I think that's, I really do. I think it's an absolute steal. I actually have 2 cases of this product, and with this price, I don't see why I wouldn't just keep picking up another case every month or so, just kind of adding it to the storage, because I do believe this product long term has a lot of great future. I will say again, the opposite of that is I currently do not believe in Ursula's return or Azurite Sea. I don't think that either of these products necessarily is something that I want to spend my money on any time in the near future. Could they go up? Sure. I mean, there's 3 cases. There's only 3 cases listed, and it's $430. So this price could change really quickly overnight. Somebody could just drop $1,200 here and then list one for 800, and then act like that's what it is. But the reality is that these are very undesirable enchanteds in there. And if the enchanteds, which are supposed to hold up the box value, are undesirable and low priced, unfortunately, there's not much more room for the boxes. And then I think also with kind of like Ursula's and Inklands, they're not first chapter, right? So because they're not first chapter and they have kind of dull enchanteds, again, let's just be real. The enchanteds in these first few sets look kind of like they just kind of look like, legendaries. They don't look too special. They look better, but they don't look too special compared to what we're getting now in like Wilds Unknown and Winter Spell, Attack of the Vine, right? The goated enchanted. All right, that's what's going on with our sealed right now. Going over here to the iconics, same old story. You've probably heard it 100 times, but we've kind of slowed down from the high sales. One sale, 4,600, 5,700, 57, 57, 59. Again, you can see the euphoria and hype. I'm going to be a broken record with this. From the 9th to like the 15th to 20th, there was a massive amount of euphoria and hype that kind of came into this market, drove up all these prices by up like 50 to 100% on a lot of them. And now what we're seeing is you're seeing the cool off period, inventory's coming back. So that scarcity is kind of going away a little bit. Inventory's coming back. People are listing them, but and then with PSA being kind of shut down right now, not a lot of people are going to want to gamble on buying these cards, spending $100 to send them off, not knowing if they're going to get a 9 or a 10. It normally depends on the attitude of the grader the day that you send it, to be honest with PSA, because between a 9 and 10 isn't that significant of a difference from what I've seen on these cards. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on here. We're slowed down, but again, super. I mean, just the prices on Mickey, the prices on Minnie. I mean, absolutely amazing. These people getting them for 5K, selling them for 15K. PSA 10 is pretty nasty. Merida still holding strong as well. You can look at all these things for you. So still some sales for Merida, looking good. That's good. That's healthy. That's a healthy market. These are really high end, hard to find super chase cards. And the fact that you're still seeing sales every couple of days is a massive, like, positive momentum driver. What you don't want to see is no sales for like 3 months. That's what a lot of games have. They have their high end cards, but nobody's ever buying them. This is different. People are buying these cards, so it looks good. Let's move into the Enchanted. This card really wasn't that expensive that long ago. I remember looking at this card. This is crazy. Like, I just want to put this in perspective. Let's go to a year. A year ago, you could have got this Winnie the Pooh Enchanted for $250, $300. Now, I know hindsight's 2020 and everything, but like, we've got to use our brains if you're looking to get into this like as a long-term investment. When you have iconic characters that have some of the largest IPs in the entire world with an absolutely beautiful, stunning card, there's sometimes people are going to be chasing like the top tier chase iconics for when the set first comes out for the first few months. They're going to ignore like the non-playable enchanteds that are sleeping. But yeah, even just 3 months ago, you could have picked this card up for $500, which at the time seemed pretty risky. Then you go over here and you've got sales at raw at 2,000, 2,500. 5x in 3 months is an absurd run up. I don't think that's going to continue forever. I think we kind of saw our moment there. A couple cards that I talked about kind of before they ran up as well. And again, I'm not trying to say I'm like some authority here, but I feel like I was listening to a lot of the YouTubers and I was watching what they were talking about. They were talking about all like the top end chases. And I called out cards like It Means No Worries. I called out cards like You've Got a Friend in Me. And my point with that is that when you have these cards, even though they're like action cards and stuff like that, they have such like iconic characters on them that people eventually are going to want to collect them. And it played out way quicker than I thought it would. I thought it would take like another 6 months before they kind of realized that. But here we are. You can kind of see where we've come and go back and watch some of my older videos where we talk about that. It's just like this one in particular, like fantastic characters on here. There was no reason why this card, was, a couple $100 when it's got these amazing characters illustrated on there. All right. Enchanted's kind of doing its thing. I mean, Enchanted's have had a massive run up since the Iconics got out of reach for most people. The Enchanted's have been the thing where everybody has gone to. All right. There's another one. This is, I think this is kind of like the cat's out of the bag on this one. Everybody's talking about it already, but we're going to continue to talk about it. If you take these epics are pretty sick looking cards. I'm not kidding. I really do think they almost look like the first 4 sets, Enchanted's, to be quite frank. And from then on, they look like the legendary cold foils. If you don't know, the legendary cold foils have sort of that like embossed character look to them, like highlighted, like raised character with all the shiny stuff going on behind it. These look really fantastic. So if you do have a favorite character and you can't really afford an Enchanted or an Iconic or something like that, Pick up your favorite character in these epics. They're extreme, like a buzz. Go pick up a buzz for 10 bucks. Extremely affordable cards of your favorite characters. Do I think these are going to go to two, three, $400? No, I don't. I don't know that these are necessarily like a huge play. I know that people like are always looking for like where to put money to get it to grow. Yes, you could easily, drop a couple $100 and push the price point on one of these up. But really, I think this is all about like collecting your favorite characters and a pretty cool looking card. And epics are still pretty rare per case and per box. So it's not like you're getting flooded with epics every time you open boxes. You get like a couple, right? So um, really great things here. And yes, I do think that some of these do have room to go if you really look. You've got some that are listed like the Merida for $5. You've got some that could, in quote unquote percentage wise, double. You're not going to, as Joey McScrooge says, you're not going to make generational, retirement wealth by buying 10 Meridas and they double in price and you you make $20. But you can have some fun picking up, again, fun characters and amazing artwork, really cool looking shiny cards. Throw them in a binder. This is a way to kind of like build your collections a little bit more slowly and a little like methodically. And these are also like highly playable cards, right? So they're going to have their day in the sun as long as they're not rotated out. And when they get rotated out, if they get reprinted, right, the epics are the kind of like reprints. So if they get reprinted, then they're still going to be playable. So it's an interesting concept to go in there. Interesting one here. This is the promos. Promos have had a run up. Promos are pretty scarce. There's only like X number of listings per set. I personally have been focused on the store championship cards and trying to build my collection of all the store championship cards. I think that these are just fantastic cards. I will highlight Woody real quick. Woody got that super aggro interest for a while there where like people were buying it up from 200 to 300, and you can see this is a great example of exactly what I was talking about here, is that people will buy into the hype hardcore. And I mean, I can't even go far enough back, but look how many copies, like when you see 4, 5, 6 copies and stuff like that, like these are people speculating on this card and they're buying it up. They're running the price up. They're not like, it's not like an intentional thing. It's just like in their mind, they think that this thing is going to go to $1,000. So they buy 8 copies, right, at 220. They buy 8 copies at 220. They're planning on just holding them for a profit in the future because they know they're limited. But that's what happens when the card starts selling for a high amount. Guess what? Every single human being who owns some of these cards, they're going to list them and they're going to increase the listings significantly, going to drive down the prices. They all try to sell for whatever they can get for it. That is what you see when the sales start to slow down and the listings keep piling up, right? That's why you start seeing this thing come off that high, right? That high around 300 or whatever it was, and then they start to kind of fall back down. So the fair market value will find its place once the investment money dries up, because eventually they can't buy they could buy every single card, but they're probably going to focus more on like, the anniversary sets and things like that. They're going to focus more on the next sets, Attack of the Vine. Like you don't want to just blow all your capital on one card on a spec, and then have it unravel like that. So yeah, anyway, promos, a lot of promos out there to keep an eye on. You can go really far back and find some just absolutely like disgusting, amazing promos. I think this is like an absolutely gorgeous promo here. Let's go to Holofoil. It's probably significantly more expensive. I should have highlighted Holofoils on these, but I didn't. But yeah, you can see like how much better this stuff is going to be when Holofoils. A lot of them are out of stock, but yeah. Let me re-clarify. I focus on the store championship Holofoil cards. That's what I've been kind of collecting and growing right now, and it's just been a lot of fun. Like these are beautiful cards, like Tinkerbell, super cheap. This is way cheaper than when I bought it too. I just wanted the card, but yeah, you can get it for $65 now, stuff like that. So why not go pick up some of these old store champs that nobody cares about? And there's only so many listings, and eventually they might dry out. We'll see. But that's it for that. And then finally, last but not least, I think another card type that most people aren't really discussing, that might be another place for you to look into where you want to pick up parts of your collection, are cold foil legendaries. There are not a ton of cold foil legendaries per case, right? You're not even guaranteed one per box. So if you really think about this, the cold foil legendaries are they're pretty scarce. Like they're not easy to pull, especially on sets that aren't being opened anymore. There are some sets that don't have as much like kind of graphical fidelity, like they don't have the embossed look to them and stuff like that. So you do have to kind of avoid some of them, but Really, a lot of these modern sets with the really cool, uh, again, really cool legendaries. Some of them are reprinted. That's one good caveat I just caught myself is understand that these very much could be reprinted. Okay, they could be reprinted in a subsequent set. A lot of them have been reprinted, so pay attention to that. This is more of like a collection thing. But I just want to point out that if you're looking to collect something that's a little bit more rare than well, significantly more rare than a legendary, it's kind of up there with the epics. It's about as rare as the epics. So epics and cold foil legendaries, pick up some cool cards, cool art, add them to your binders, have some fun with it. And a lot of them are very, very affordable. Again, I'm sorted high to low, so you can only imagine how low some of these actually get. So yeah, go out there, have some fun. Let me know what you guys are collecting or speculating in, or what you're having fun with the market side of Disney Lorcana. And I appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.